he gonna get caught. He'll pop out on you. He get there too quick.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous. How can you be out there claiming to want to fight the best people on the planet?
Many boxing experts have warned Jake Paul not to fight Gervonta "Tank" Davis, especially after new training videos showed Davis punching with incredible speed and power. They believe a fight between them is risky because of the size difference and could hurt boxing's image. Analysts say Paul needs to respect Davis as a real dangerous fighter, not just see him as another internet boxer. The footage also shows Davis is not only fast and strong, but also smart in the ring, able to trap opponents and punish any mistakes, which could be very dangerous if Paul underestimates him.
I'm quite surprised because it sounded like Jake Paul and Joshua was getting closer and closer for January. However, there have been rumours of Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul in the past. I think with Gervonta Davis's kind of legal problems in the last month or so and rumours about his retirement, I don't think it's a massive shock that he is taking this Jake Paul fight if it is going to go ahead, purely for the reason that it's a lot of money for maybe not the most difficult job that he's going to have in his career. So it's a strange one, but yeah, it's just another kind of day in the sport, really, isn't it?
Promoter Hearn has strongly warned Jake Paul about the dangers of fighting Gervonta Davis, saying the fight could bring serious consequences for Paul. Hearn called it a mismatch and raised concerns about Paul's safety, stressing that Paul risks much more than just his boxing record. While the fight may have big commercial appeal and seems like a 50-50 on paper, Hearn's message is clear. Paul's health and well-being are truly on the line.
I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. You know, I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua. I think that's the only reason we're going to see this fight, but I truly believe you're going to see it at the beginning of 2026.
Daniel Cormier gave a balanced but critical take on Jake Paul fighting Gervonta Davis. He respected Paul for how far he has come, even getting big deals with Netflix, but pointed out the clear size mismatch. Davis is the better boxer, but he usually fights around 134 pounds, while Paul is close to 200 pounds. Cormier warned that if Davis wins, it could stop Paul's rise in boxing, but if Davis loses, it could be very embarrassing for him because of the big weight difference.
When the Disruptor Challenge is a legend, guys, anything can happen. When a kid that was on YouTube and on Disney walked in there and said, I'm going to be a professional boxer, Jake Paul needs to be commended for that. He had a vision, and he honestly executed that vision better than anyone ever could have expected. But sometimes you want something so badly that you don't recognize the dangers that come with wanting that thing and then getting that thing. Now Jake Paul has gotten himself to a point where he's fighting someone that could truly, truly end his career. All right, Mike Tyson. We're talking about one of the scariest, most dangerous fighters to ever step foot in the squared circle. For me, it's pretty simple. Jake Paul, in the Mike Perry fight, he got a great appetizer for what he will get in the main event. A fighter that starts very fast, that throws things to take your head off, and you have to kind of match the intensity to ultimately get your shots.
Former champion Froch has warned about the dangers of Jake Paul fighting Gervonta Davis, pointing to the huge 65-pound weight difference. Paul usually fights near 200 pounds, while Davis is around 135. Froch admitted Davis is more skilled, but said Paul's size and punching power could be a serious problem, as Davis has never been hit by someone that heavy. He said many in boxing see this less as a fair fight and more as a risky show that raises questions about safety and legitimacy.
My name was mentioned at his press conference and he shit himself, and the fight was just absolutely fucking diabolical. Again, I've said before, he's not a professional boxer, he never will be, and he proved time and time again that he's not a professional fighter. So, Jake Paul, go on, piss off. I mean, I don't really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, he stands up straight and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just, everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, it was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level, and then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different. It's like a different sport.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode. But I hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Ryan Garcia strongly criticized the matchup, calling it crazy and questioning if it should even happen. He said modern boxing is losing its respect and compared it to WWE, claiming it looks more like entertainment than a real sport. Garcia believes fights like this hurt boxing's image and make it harder for fans to take the sport seriously, saying in his words, "Boxing is now the WWE."
Today we're going to talk about the boxing world and another fight that Jake Paul just booked for his joke of a career against a 65-plus smaller guy than him in Gervonta Davis. Jake Paul is a circus sideshow for low IQ incels. Nobody should be falling for this carny bullshit about him being a real fighter. Gervonta is a million times better than him, so he has to handicap Gervonta's skill by being a giant lab rat with a 65-plus weight advantage over him. This is a joke. This is a mockery to the sport of fighting. You know, the best are supposed to fight the best. Why is he fighting a guy that's, you know, in his last fight, Mike Tyson, who, you know, he's got a 40-year age gap between them? You know, why are you fighting a guy that should be in line for, you know, the early bird special, not fighting in a boxing ring? And Mike Tyson, now you're fighting a guy who is, you know, tiny. He's a 130-pound fighter. You fight in the 210, 210, 220 weight range. So, you know, this is another joke in Jake Paul's career. You know, he claims to want to be a real fighter, but, you know, he's not taking the real steps to be real fighters and fighting, you know, top 10 guys and fighting the best guys in the world. You know, he fights, you know, these circus sideshows against guys that have no business being in there against him. So, you know, I guess this is the state of boxing. It's dead. UFC took over, and, you know, this is what you get now. You get this YouTuber who, you know, is on Lizzie McGuire, and he wants to claim to be a real fighter, but he doesn't want to fight real fighters. So, you know, I think it's ironic, though. Why would he hire a lawyer to sue people that say that his fights are fixed if they weren't? Allegedly. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird. You guys do the math. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Amir Khan strongly criticized the planned fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, calling it disgusting and dangerous. He pointed out the huge size difference, with Paul around 200 pounds and much taller, while Davis fights at 135 pounds. Khan said this mismatch could cause serious injury and would likely not be approved as a real professional fight. He also warned that such events damage boxing's reputation and praised promoter Turki Alalshik for refusing to support YouTube-style exhibitions.
He was obviously a lot heavier than him, but, you know, in an exhibition fight. What are your thoughts on this fight?
A really bad mismatch, and you know what? Whoever the promoter is and that's agreed Gervonta to fight, and whoever the promoter is to fight for Jake Paul to say fight this little man, I mean, that's wrong, man. I mean, that's just like torturing someone. I mean, going in there and hurting someone is just not fair on Davis. But like, say you don't know what position Davis is in. I heard that he's been having a lot of legal problems and he's been arrested a couple of times for a couple of felonies and stuff I've seen with his ex-wife and stuff. So you know what? You don't know what's going through his head. Maybe he just wants to cash up and walk away from the sport. And maybe this is a great opportunity for him where he's seen this fight come up and he's like, fuck it, I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they're making boxing a joke, really.
Yeah.
One day someone's going to end up getting hurt so badly, then it's going to definitely destroy the sport.
Michael Bisping strongly criticized Jake Paul, calling him a bully for choosing much smaller opponents. He pointed to the big size gaps, like Paul being around 60 pounds heavier and 7 inches taller than fighters such as Canelo Alvarez. Bisping said Paul picks easier, undersized opponents to secure wins, which he called an embarrassment. He questioned Paul's claims of being a real boxer, saying Paul relies on size and spectacle instead of skill, and that this kind of cherry-picking is nothing more than bully tactics.
How can you be out there claiming to want to fight the best people on the planet and then going out there and taking on a guy that is maybe 92 pounds heavier, that is at least 65 pounds heavier than you? That is called one thing. That's called being a bully. It's like, dude, what are you doing? If you want respect from your peers, if you want everyone on the planet to look at you and take you seriously and give you credit as a boxer, you have to go up against someone that keeps you up at night, against someone that gets you out of bed in the morning to go for a run because the fear of them beating you down is real.
Michael Bisping has often called out Jake Paul for picking smaller or less skilled opponents, saying it gives him unfair advantages and makes his fights look like weak spectacles. He even said Paul is more of a businessman than a real fighter, building his career on hype instead of real competition. Bisping believes Paul avoids tough, fair matchups and instead targets aging fighters or those past their prime. KSI has also criticized Paul's fight with Gervonta Davis, calling it a disgrace to boxing. He said Paul keeps dodging a fight with him and chooses easier opponents, showing his frustration and desire for a real showdown between them.
Gervonta not filling the rematch clause and just fighting Jake Paul and that whole situation and reaction of the fight itself.
I feel people I don't know, people got issues because at 200 million mandatory or either go fight for 5 million. It's a no-brainer. Like, what's wrong with people? It's a no-brainer.
A hard fight. A hard fight.
And we prize fighters. They prize fighters.
Right.
And the prize is big. And he's going to retire soon. So you got 200 million right here and you're about to retire soon or either a $5 million fight.
Wait a minute. Kid said he disagreed. Why did he disagree?
I think it's just from a fighter standpoint. And on top of that, he got a draw. It's not like you won. Like you won and you gonna go fight Jake Paul. You got a draw, man. You gotta go get that back.
Why? It was a cherry pick.
I mean, yeah, it was a cherry pick, and you looked, and you didn't look
hold
good.
on.
So you gotta.
I mean, look, with Jake, the guy's been ducking me or running away from me for so long, man. Like, he's just making excuse after excuse, and now he wants to fight Tank. I mean, it just says the type of guy Jake Paul is. He only fights someone if he has a major advantage. Anything that's close, or anything that could actually be a decent fight, he runs away from it. So.
British heavyweight Dave Allen, known as the White Rhino, slammed the planned Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight, calling it a joke and a waste of Davis's prime. He said exhibitions should be for retired fighters, not active stars like Davis, who should instead focus on real fights such as a rematch with Lamont Roach. Allen added that Paul should prove himself against a proper cruiserweight instead of chasing spectacle bouts. He accused both of chasing money over real competition and said he wouldn't even watch what he sees as a farce.
But he's never been punched by a rhinoceros, has he yet? So we'll have to see.
He's training this fight, but fighting against real bears. This is true. People are going, no chance, no chance. Do you reckon this guy, could he be the toughest of your opponents so far, do you reckon?
I don't think he's the best that I've faced. I've faced a few Olympic medalists, a few world title challengers, but I think he's probably the most dangerous. Maybe not the best boxer, he might not be the most technical, but he hits really hard, he's really big and strong. So yeah, I think it's the most dangerous task I've faced, but he may be not the best fighter I've been in with.
Whereabouts is the fight, Dave? Where are you fighting him?
He's still at Sheffield Arena,
Right.
headlining in Sheffield, which is like my local arena. So yeah, it's a big night for me.
He won his last fight, didn't he, Dave, against Ricardo Brown, and 20 wins, 19 KOs he's got. So like you says, he is dangerous. How's the training gone for you ahead of this fight?
Yeah, it's been good. He's put a bit of fear in me, to be honest. I've had a bit of genuine fear. I've been stopped, but I've never been on the canvas ever as a pro or amateur. So, and I'd like to keep it that way, really. Yep. I'm not on anyone's highlight reel. You see highlight reels, all the fighters I face. I'm not on any of them, and I'd like to keep it that way. So yeah, training has gone up a notch. For the Fisher rematch, I did weigh a little bit heavy. So for this one, if I cut any corners, there's a good chance I'll get beaten.
Some critics are calling Gervonta Davis's choice to fight a much bigger social media star the biggest duck in boxing history. They argue he avoided real challenges with fighters in his division and instead went for an easy money fight. Many say this matchup looks more like a business move than a true sporting test, trading legacy for exposure and a payday. With the huge size difference and hype-driven promotion, people see it as a spectacle rather than a serious fight. Fans worry it damages boxing's image, puts safety at risk, and shows how far the sport has drifted from its true values.
Getting in when we give it to you straight, no chaser. In sports, Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul have a fight coming up. I ain't even gonna call it a fight because it ain't. If Jake Paul's involved in it, it's a great acting job. You know, Mike Tyson could have just knocked Jake Paul's face into the canvas, but he got paid to pull punches, otherwise he wouldn't have got paid. I'm pretty sure the same is going for Gervonta Davis. It's a quick money grab. Now, most of y'all gonna be suckers who tune in. It's just quick money grab. That's all I'm saying. Ain't gonna be no fight. I don't give a fuck how big Jake Paul is. He can't take one of them little mother tank punches. And yeah, tank move furniture. Move furniture. Catch that motherfucking move furniture. And Jake don't like his furniture move, so he gonna pay him not to hit him again. If you really want to show out Gervonta, sign a contract that you ain't gonna hit him, because if you hit him, you lose all the money. And then whoop that motherfucker's ass, put him to sleep, and get him out the boxing game once and for all.
Some critics say boxing is dying because it has moved away from real competition and true skill. They argue that celebrity fights, mismatched opponents, and show-style events are taking over, while the spotlight on world-class fighters and the sport's real legacy is fading.
Oh, Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. Chilaquiles.
Musty energy. Musty energy. Musty energy.
Oh, it's musty, and I say that respectfully. Per Mike Hoppinger in the Ring magazine, Gervonta Tank Davis, freshly off his domestic violence charges being dropped, will get into the ring with Jake Paul in Atlanta with a proposed date of November 15th. Lord child. Get your hand out of my pocket! Tank weighs about 135. Jake Paul weighs about 200-something pounds. So obviously this will be at a catch weight, and this possibly will not be a sanctioned fight where it will count on anybody's records. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this: Tank fans, you niggas down bad.
The hatred. Musty energy.
You niggas is down bad.
What do you think about this fight? Should Jake Paul finally take on someone closer to his size and skill to prove he's real? Or is this just how boxing works now? Share your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.